Meet the Mova K30, designed to tackle dust, debris, and spills with ease. With 18,000 pascal suction and a 500 RPM high-speed mop, it effortlessly removes stubborn stains while adjusting suction and water levels based on the mess severity. Its 180-degree lie-flat design reaches under furniture, and edge-to-edge cleaning ensures no dust is left behind. Smart features like an LED display, voice prompts, and self-propulsion make operations seamless, while solid liquid waste separation prevents clogs. Maintenance is effortless with one-touch self-cleaning and 60 degrees Celsius hot air drying to keep the brush fresh. Weighing just 3.98 kilograms and offering a 30-minute battery life, the K30 is a lightweight yet long-lasting cleaning powerhouse. Let's put it to the test and see if it lives up to the hype. Hey everyone, today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the Mova K30 cordless floor washer. Special thanks to Mova for sponsoring today's video and sending us the K30. If you're interested in this product or you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. Take a look at the retail box and packaging, highlighting some key features for this particular model. 18,000 pascals of suction, 30-minute runtime, 180-degree lie-flat reach. There's hot air drying, dual edge cleaning. There's a lot of great features to go over and showcase with this particular product. So let's go ahead now, let's open it up and see what's inside. Here are all the contents. First up, we have our product literature, followed by our multi-surface floor cleaner, 500 milliliters or 16.9 fluid ounces. We have our cleaning brush. We have a couple of spare parts with our washable and replaceable and reusable filter, as well as an extra main brush roller. Very soft, high quality construction. We have our handle. And on here imprinted says "Move on, ventures await." We have our power button. We have our different selector button there for the different modes. And we have our self-cleaning button up at the top. This will just snap right in place onto the unit itself. We have our charging and hot air drying station here. Charging contacts, air inlet, air outlet, built-in storage here. And then last but definitely not least, the K30 itself. Let's take a look at this in more detail. Looking at the very front of the unit, we got the Mova branding up at the top right here, followed by some Mova branding on the cover that is removable to get access to the main brush roller to clean and replace as needed. It just slides right off. Very easy installation and removal. With it removed, you might notice we have some hair detangling combs down here at the bottom. And again, simple installation to get that back on. Easy cover to remove, to wash, and clean as needed. Can't forget to showcase the lie-flat reach here. Look at this design that we can use it to get under furniture, tables, anything around the house with that nice lie-flat design that we can still use it and get all that extra maneuverability to get to those hard to reach areas. Here's your left side profile. Here's your right side profile. Here's a look at the very top with our display and where the handle will go to be installed. On the display, they have some of the key settings right here on the sticker for you, showing you the different modes. Once it illuminates and powers on, you'll be able to see all those settings right there on the screen. Looking at the back side of the K30, we have a roller wheel up at the top. That's to help to assist when it's in that 180-degree lie-flat reach on the floor. We have our release button right here for the clean and dirty water tank. Take a look at the tank from all different sides and angles. Couple things to go over. First, up at the top, we can remove our filter that's washable and reusable, and that just snaps right back in place. We have a handle here that we can pull up to remove the dirty water tank, to get access to that, to dump, empty, and rinse out. Then we can clean the filter here as well. So everything you can wash and rinse as needed. On the tank itself, this side's going to be your clean water tank. Very clever design here, 2-in-1. Use only official multi-surface floor cleaner, so you can add a couple capfuls there and then fill it up with clean tap water. Important to note, on the dirty water tank, you have two full levels. One's if you're just going to use it in the standing mode, you get more dirty water tank capacity. If you want to use the lie flat mode, it's going to be a little bit less due to the fact that, you guessed it, it's basically laying flat on the floor. It just can't hold as much with that being enabled. And then this just slides right back on and the handle goes right back down. So very nice tank there. Here's a look at it with the tank removed. And you do have that see-through window to monitor everything from the very front. And then down here on the back side, 2 large rolling wheels right there, very smooth. And for those interested, here's a look at the underside with the rolling wheels again, the main brush roller, our scraper, 2 smaller wheels, everything at the bottom. Handle installation's simple and straightforward. It's only going to install one way. Basically, this portion of the handle that you grip is going to be out over the very front of the unit itself. So line it up. You can see what we're working with right here, but you'll line it up just like so and gently press it in place until it snaps in. So it just clicked right in. Now we have it installed with the handle. If for some reason you need to ever remove the handle, you can press in here, get a little tool, and you can press in there and then you can pull the handle back out. But it snaps right in and then you're all set and ready to go to start cleaning. So now let's charge it up, fill it up, and try it out.
Auto mode, ultra mode, turbo mode, suction mode. Charging started. Starting self-cleaning. Drying the brush roller. Lasts about 30 minutes.
All right, we just finished our first clean. Take a look at that disgusting, dirty water tank. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, I wanted to show you the unit itself with the cover removed. Everything's nice and dry. Looks great. Just your typical hair and a little bit of dust starting to accumulate. The roller itself looks brand new still. Rotated all the way around. Again, this is also nice and dry. We can even take it out so you can see it up close. Looks as good as new still. See it from both sides. We'll look at the underside of the unit. It looks great. Nothing out of the ordinary yet. Also wanted to show you the station itself, where it conducts the washing and drying. This looks great too. We have a little bit of residue starting to build up here. Basically like evaporated water left behind a little bit of dirt. But that looks really, really good. For cleaning the K30 directly on it, you wouldn't be able to tell. And now for the good stuff, let's take a look at this disgusting dirty water tank. So we'll go ahead, first we'll pull the top lid off so we can see our separated contents. We got our liquids and our solids right here. Let me give you that close-up of the pet hair from my dog, human hair, I see an M&M, some candy, some crumbs, just the typical stuff you'd find on the floor around your house, or at least my house with pets and kids. So that's disgusting. And then we have our dirty water there. Look at how brown it already is. Let's pour that out. Sick. Oh, really thick at the end there. And then look at all of the dirt that is settled at the bottom. Kind of got some grime and gunk there. And that's our clean water still on the back. So more of our yeah, just that muddy mixture down at the very bottom there. So make sure you always rinse this out to get it as clean as possible. But that's what you can expect. You can easily dump the water down your drain and separate the solid contents to prevent any clogs. And let's look at the filter too. Let me pop that out. So here's a look at the filter. I haven't rinsed it out or anything yet. We have some debris collecting on it and along the sides. And in there you'll notice even more debris. So make sure you're keeping an eye on this and rinsing this out every once in a while as well. So how does the Mova K30 stack up against the competition? We'll be comparing it to the average of 10 wet dry vacs in our database that cost $309 or less. Why $309? That's the current price of the K30 right now. For those that want to save a couple of bucks, on March 24th through March 30th, you'll be able to get the K30 for $249.99. Looking at the weight, the Mova K30 comes in at 8.8 pounds. That's going to be just about a pound below the average. What that means for you, the end user, is day to day, you won't be as fatigued and it won't be as tiresome to maneuver the K30 versus your average budget-friendly wet dry vac. The lighter, the better. And we could also say the quieter your wet dry vac, the better as well. We always measure max decibels. The K30 peaks at 79 decibels with your average coming in at 76, so 3 decibels less. The lower this number, the better. That's going to mean that it's quieter. Now, 3 decibels shows up on a decibel meter, but to your ear, vacuuming and cleaning with the K30 versus your average one, you wouldn't be able to tell a difference. Next up is suction power. This comes in at 18,000 pascals. That's 1,000 pascals above the average. Now, I do want to point out that a lot of our budget-friendly wet dry vacs don't even advertise their suction power, and that's going to be because there's nothing good to advertise there. So this average would actually be even lower if a lot of brands published their suction power. But anyways, we're above average, and that's a good leading indicator for its actual real-world cleaning. Same thing can be said with our in-use suction test. This is measured in kPAs for those that are interested. The higher the better is what we want to see here. 1.2 is what the K30 scored. That's right at the average. In regards to battery life, we're 4 minutes below average. That's nothing to get upset about. Obviously, you'd want a higher number here so it can last longer in between charges, but that's more than enough juice to get you through cleaning your house. Next up is lie flat reach. That's the 180-degree maneuverability. This isn't something that we see on budget-friendly wet dry vacs. You'd have to spend hundreds of dollars more to get this feature. So that's a good sign for the future that maybe more and more brands will follow suit. But the K30 delivers a home run here with that feature. It just makes cleaning that much more desirable and enjoyable and effective because you can get to areas that your typical wet dry vac can't reach. Moving along, let's talk about clean water tank capacity. This is measured in milliliters. We have a slightly smaller water tank compared to the average. Not a big deal. I guess over the course of 5 or 6 cleans, you'll be making 1 extra trip to the sink, so it really doesn't matter. The smaller tank allows us to have that effective lie flat reach, which is way better and a worthwhile trade-off if you ask me. And I want to mention that the smaller tank does technically make this a little bit lighter than the competition. For those worried about fatiguing or anything like that, you'll appreciate this capacity for what it is. It's not going to affect your cleaning routine because you have more than enough water to get through your clean. And same story with the dirty water tank, but again, not that far off from the average, just 50 milliliters. Now, for those curious, there are 2 dirty water tank levels. If you're using it in the lie flat reach mode, that will be 350 milliliters before the tank is full. If you're not, you have up to 500 milliliters before it's time to empty it. Only 1 out of the 10 wet dry vacs doesn't have self-cleaning, so that's just about a standard feature that we've seen today on a wet dry vac. I would really strongly caution against buying one that doesn't have self-cleaning. That is the way to go with this system. It just doesn't make sense to get one without. And along those lines of self-cleaning, this features hot air drying. The average temp we're seeing on these units is 143 degrees Fahrenheit, but that's because one model skews this data a lot higher because it tops out at 176 degrees Fahrenheit hot air drying, with most coming in around 100 to 120. So without that outlier, this would be the hottest that we've seen. And again, that outlier skews the average up, but again, very competitive for what it's offering with the hot air drying. You usually don't see them this hot on models this affordable. And I got another one for you, dual edge cleaning. That's not a feature we see on other wet dry vacs that compete with this. Out of those 10, only 1 has dual edge cleaning. If you're lucky, most will give you 1 or none at all. So really substantial design and feature set that they're offering here compared to all the other wet dry vacs. And if that wasn't enough, we have one more surprise feature here that the K30 really stands out with compared to the competition. That's solid liquid waste separation. This is a game-changing feature to easily dump out your dirty water and empty the solids into the trash, and that helps prevent your sinks clogging, having to get your drains cleaned. All of that can be avoided now with that solid liquid waste separation. So where's that leave us with our Mova K30? Well, let me share with you my final thoughts. Here's what you need to know. First, let's talk about its advantages. So one of the biggest things here is it's very budget friendly, and you get top of the line features like 180-degree lie flat reach. We have a nice, sleek, modern, slim design with an easy to read display, multiple control options, a suction only mode. There's a lot to love about the K30. Gotta give a shout out to the 2-in-1 tank design. I think this is just really clever and convenient with the clean and dirty water, as well as our solid and liquid waste separation. And we can't forget that right out of the box, we have an extra spare roller brush, and they give us a good amount of cleaning solution. So very thoughtful and thorough. With this being budget friendly, they're not compromising on things that are so easy to leave out to pinch pennies, like the cleaning solution and the extra brush roller. All of that is still covered for you, which is great to see. But with all that said, there are some things I want to see improved in the future. The first one is maybe just my own pet peeve. There is a battery status bar, but there's no battery status percentage. I would much rather see a percentage to know how much juice is left than trying to guess how much of the bar is left. Also, there's no LED light, not a deal breaker, but I'd love to see that. Again, not expecting it on this model, but again, if they could include it, that would be great. And there's no hot water mop washing. Again, not expecting it on this model, but it would be nice to see that trickle down in the future. They do give us hot air drying. For a lot of you out there, you'd rather have that, so it's not spending as much time drying in your house and making noise, but they could improve that further by giving us like a rapid or flash dry setting where it could do that in 5 or 10 minutes instead of 30. But don't get me wrong, 30 is better than an hour or 2 hours or more.